if I could think of I could not even imagine a more evil, diabolical, perfect Trojan horse wherein which and by which you could actually implement urban pacification by using these microwave frequencies, even at their low power output, for harmonic sympathy to actually pacify people, actually meaning zombify them. You could use upper sideband, lower sideband without, and I'll actually talk about that here in a second. Also, too, the implementation of mid-band 5G, the Europeans are looking at this so they could actually proliferate these transceivers everywhere, because you could use the exact same transceiver arrays with very little manipulation for a high-band upgrade. When Europe and Australia and other people that are implementing mid-band 5G, that they could actually upgrade their systems without much cost expenditure or time. A perfect Trojan horse I could not even think of than using upper and lower sideband harmonics for harmonic sympathy of brain tissue. When you're actually talking about microwave frequencies, and this is a fact, look this up if you don't believe me. This is not like tinfoil hat crap, as I just got done telling you 20 minutes ago. The microwave absorption by polar molecules, and the most famous polar molecule is the molecule that makes up all life, is astronomically high. I mean, that's not an exaggeration. 1 gigahertz or less, or 10 to 20 gigahertz, it's not an issue. Of course, you have people getting brain tumors. Of course, you know it, and I know it by having cell phones up to like doctors and lawyers. The guys that are constantly on the phones, like, wow, they end up with brain tumors right here underneath their head. That's very, very close proximity. But the penetrative nature of this microwave and frequency radiation, specifically from not only from transceivers, but also too from their phones, even with the exact same, say, 200 milliwatts of output, conventional 3G or 4G phone, like your current iPhone or your current Android, is way worse and way more dangerous, and also, too, a far, far better tool for human manipulation and pacification. That sounds superficially like tinfoil hat conspiracy stuff, but it has that possibility because of the characteristics and attributes of millimeter wavelength frequency high band 5G transmissions. That's not my opinion, that's a fact. And most 2G and 4G doesn't penetrate the skull. All 5G, for example, no matter what the mill output, does penetrate the skull. It's just like a drill drilling into your head. 5G is a gold mine for human pacification possibilities. It is literally a perfect Trojan horse. There was a really important point in all my notes here. I wanted to make a long list of notes, but some of these spectrum, an expensive spectrum analyzer, you would have no way when you're talking on your phone or using your application on your phone with 5G high-band transceiver antenna and communication chip technology. You would have no way other than a super expensive spectrum analyzer to realize that you'd actually be getting upper sideband, lower sideband. It would be brilliant as an evil, and all governments are evil. If you wanted to pacify people with a full implementation of future 5G, high-band 5G, the only thing you'd have to do is just actually send out a signal through an application or throughout the entire phone network, and you would have no idea that was going on. And you could literally zombify people or bring them into a state of like a drunken stupor. This is not conspiracy or tinfoil hat crap. This is something that has been tested and proven, literally proven since 1967 by the U.S. Department of Defense. U.S. DOD proved this in 1967. How much better if you think they've perfected it now some 60 years later, for God's sakes? Yeah, there's a lot of tinfoil hat garbage about 5G on YouTube and the internet, but I'm not going to entertain that because I'm not into tinfoil hat garbage. But let me tell you another fact, and this is undeniable by anybody if you have a half a brain. The ultimate big brother, and this has nothing to do with politics, we say big brother. The ultimate big brother goal is always twofold. Well, it's actually more than twofold. But the primary two are tracking and control. Everybody on Earth now basically has a cell phone. It is the most brilliant, ingenious tracking device ever created. Simply by using cellular networks, they could triangulate your position in a heartbeat, send anybody else out to get. It is literally, I mean this seriously, it's not my opinion, it's a fact, it's the most brilliant tracking device ever. You couldn't do better than that than if every human being born, when they were born, they bent them over and stuck a permanent radio transceiver device up their shaft, to pinpoint wherever someone is, any time of the day, anywhere, period. That is what a cell phone currently is. You could use that same cell phone in an upgraded technology with 5G. Not only is it a perfect tracking device, but also, too, using harmonic sympathy as a brilliant control device. You could zombify somebody. You could bring them into a state of stupor. That's as good as it gets. I mean, the only way you can't get people to stick a tracking device up their bum, right? You can't. So what you do is you make it, it's like the way you give a dog its medicine. You wrap it in some candy or some beef jerky or whatever, and you feed it to your dumb dog, right? Here you go. Dog's never going to take the medicine, but if you wrap it in some beef jerky, it'll take the medicine, right? Human beings are the same damn thing. You can't get a human being to take a tracking device up their pooper, so you could track them everywhere they go for the rest of their life. But you can with a cell phone, with all its little cool apps and the fact that it's a phone and it's a calculator. Every cell phone does like a million things, but it's also the most brilliant tracking device. What if, perchance, since this was proven and tested extensively by the Department of Defense in 1967 for microwave manipulation of human behavior. This is not tinfoil crap, it's fact. What if you could use that same tracking device, upgraded with high-band 5G technology, and not only track them everywhere the hell they go, but send out upper sideband or lower sideband 5G signal? They would never hear anything, they would never know anything, but you could pacify them. You could stupefy them. There are actually 4 distinct mood states that the Department of Defense found that through proper, it's called harmonic sympathy, look it up, you could pacify, it's pacification, stupefaction, not elation, drowsy, and there was one other. There was a 4th mood that they could induce with harmonic sympathy using microwave radiation. And I don't mean like, huge-ass magnetron, high-power microwave radiation. When you're talking about harmonic sympathy, no, we're talking about low power, but the correct frequency applied of that microwave radiation could pacify somebody. It's called harmonic sympathy. Look it up. And the project that the government, I think part of it's been declassified, even though heavily redacted, is called Project Bazaar. There's 2 other projects that the Department of Defense did using microwave radiation through harmonic sympathy for human pacification. I say zombification, but it doesn't, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It's a distinction without a difference. That's actually the real danger of 5G. Everybody's going to love it because they're going to download 4K movies, big-ass 4K movie in 10 seconds. Wow, awesome. Yeah. But the 5G is bad. 5G is bad. At the high-band 5G, that's a serious issue. Up in the mid-range microwave radiation frequencies between 20 to 80 gigahertz average, that's going to be a problem. I didn't put any tinfoil hat, wackadoodle nonsense in there. There's so much crazy. And 5G is not one thing. It just refers to a generation, that's what the G stands for, the 5th generation technology for cellular communications. But the sadistic evil, as it were, within that is the nature of those microwave frequencies in high-band 5G. What you could do with it is absolutely astounding. That's not my opinion. This was tested and proven by the Department of Defense in 1967. And last I recall, 1967 is around about, what was that? Yeah, 60 years ago? Now it's 2020. 1967 to 2020. They proved this I know I'm repeating myself. They proved this in 1967. So yeah. There are significant dangers with high bandwidth 5G, and the fact that they're going to be sticking these towers all over the freaking place, And the upgrade of your cellular, be it iPhone and or Samsung, both of them, of course, are going to get implemented with high-band 5G. It spells bad news. It's not good for your health, and it is a perfect government control device. It literally is, and that's not conspiracy. Its potential as a Trojan horse for control is astronomically high. And when I say astronomically high, that's actually not an exaggeration. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. And this was a viewer-requested video, and there you go. Bye.